these fake documents, these forged documents with fake electoral votes, this part of the plot has since emerged as a matter of potential criminal prosecution in at least 2 states and at the federal level. So, for example, on the first question here, was it illegal? And did the first questions here, was it illegal? Did they know it was illegal? The January 6th investigators have given us a resounding yes on both of those. The January 6th investigators have shown testimony that not only did the White House counsel's office conclude that the fake electors plan was illegal, the White House counsel's office formally notified White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani and all the other people who happened to be allowed into their meeting about it. The White House counsel's office told them outright at the White House that the fake electors thing was illegal. Even beyond them showing that just all the lawyers knew it was illegal, the investigation also showed that some of the people who participated, some of the people who signed their names on these forged documents, who signed up to be the fake electors, they asked, as they did so, for the Trump campaign to please agree in advance to pay their legal fees in case they were sued or arrested for trying to pull this off. Next crucial question. Did they try to pull it off anyway? Of course they tried to pull it off anyway. They did, in fact, forge fake Electoral College slates of votes. They mailed them into the National Archives as if they were real, hoping they'd be counted as if they were real. So was it illegal? Yes. Did they know it was illegal? Yes. Did they try to pull it off anyway? Yes. Was it occasionally hilarious when they did so? Yes.
He told me that the Michigan Republican electors were planning to meet in the Capitol and hide overnight so that they could fulfill the role of casting their vote per law in the Michigan chambers. And I told him in no uncertain terms that that was insane and inappropriate.
Plotting to sneak into the Capitol the night before and hide out overnight, like in cupboards or something, so they could pop out and surprise everybody at the right moment and say, "Neener, neener, we have beaten the real electors to the punch, and so now we're the real electors," or something. Like, as if that's how presidents are chosen. We also know that there was this. This is a text message exchange showed by the January 6th investigators. Vice President Pence's staffer are the little bubbles on the right. You see the first one starting the conversation there from that staffer, sup, as in what's up. And then on the left side, you see bubbles there from a staffer, chief of staff to Senator Ron Johnson. Senator Ron Johnson staffer says, Johnson needs to hand something to the vice president. Please advise. The vice president staffer responds, what is it? Senator Ron Johnson's chief of staff responds, alternate slate of electors for Michigan and Wisconsin because archivists didn't receive them. The vice president staffer says in response, do not give that to him. This was just, these are all time-stamped, right? So you can see this is January 6th in the noon hour. This was just minutes before Vice President Pence was supposed to actually count the Electoral College votes, which is actually how we count the votes for president in this country. Hey, Senator Johnson needs to hand the vice president 2 of these forged fake elector certificates before the counting starts. How do we do that? What? Also, why was Senator Ron Johnson volunteering to do that? Why was he even involved?
How much did you know about what your chief of staff was doing with the alternate slates of electors? No, you're not. I can see your phone. I can see your screen.
Can you explain what your chief of staff was doing?
Does your chief of staff still work for you, Senator?
Can you explain what happened there? Why was your chief of staff even offering this to the vice president?
That's a complete non-story. We've issued a statement, and this is a non-story. I don't know what you're even concerned about.
Well, they said that your chief of staff was saying that you you wanted to provide alternate electors in Michigan and Wisconsin to Vice President Mike Pence.
This was a staff-to-staff exchange, and I was, basically unaware of it. And the chief of staff contacted the vice president's staff, said, "Do you want this?" They said no, and We didn't deliver it, and that's the end of the story.
But why was he even asking for that?
Because somebody delivered this to our office and asked to deliver that to the Vice President.
Did you support his efforts to try to get those slates to the Vice President?
No, I had no knowledge of this.
Who's the person?
I had no involvement in an alternate slate of electors. I had no idea this thing would be delivered to us. Got delivered staff to staff. My chief of staff did the right thing. Contacted the Vice President's staff. They said didn't want it, so we didn't deliver it.
Who's the person?
Again, that's the end of the story.
I had no knowledge of this. I don't even know who gave this thing to us. I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't ask who it came from. I just volunteered that I would take this thing that I didn't know anything about, and I didn't know who it came from, and I didn't have anything to do with it, and I didn't even support it. But it was something, I don't know what, that needed to go to the Vice President. And hey, I'm a senator. And that's one of the things we do. We hand deliver mail and packages to the Vice President all the time. You know, sometimes it's catalogs, and you can assume he probably doesn't want them, but maybe it's something that he really likes, and he likes to go through those catalogs. Sometimes it looks important. I don't know. I'm just a mule. I also take out the recycling sometime, and I do beer runs, whatever. What else do senators do? Senator Ron Johnson, I'm on the phone. No, you're not, Senator. We can see that there is nothing happening on the screen of your phone. I'm just going to keep holding this to my face for a little while, so you'll pretend that you didn't notice that I'm not on the phone, and then I'll put it down without saying anything. But it also should be noted, this part of it, this line that we've highlighted here, from the senator's chief of staff. Senator Johnson needs to hand deliver these fake elector certificates to the Vice President because the archivist didn't receive them. Well, no. We know, in fact, that the archives did receive them. I mean, here they are, sent registered mail weeks earlier from Wisconsin and Michigan and received by the National Archives. These are in the National Archives records. As Kyle Cheney at Politico was first to point out earlier today, we know that the National Archives received these. This was not some lost-in-the-mail problem where Senator Ron Johnson had to sub in at the last second as the slowest leg ever on the Pony Express. I mean, the archivist had these. The archivist, in reality, is in charge of receiving the actual certified legal electoral votes from the states and then giving those real electoral votes to the Vice President so he can count them on January 6th. The archivist did that. That is why Pence had the real certified electoral votes physically, hard copies of them, to count on January 6th. The archivist sent Mike Pence the real vote. The archivist just didn't also give Pence the junk mail, the illegal, counterfeit, not certified fake electoral slates too. Yes, they had them. We know that they had received them. They just didn't pass that junk onto the actual Vice President for the actual counting of the real electoral votes. So what Senator Ron Johnson and his office were trying to arrange at the very last minute before Pence started the count was to use this false claim. Oh, hey, we understand the Vice President is supposed to have these, but for some reason, the archives didn't get them. But don't worry, Senator Ron Johnson can courier them over himself and hand deliver them. They were using this false claim about the archives to try to give the Vice President forged fake votes in time for the count. Nice. Call your office, Senator. Maybe turn your phone on this time. So, was it illegal? Yes. Did they know it? Yes. Did they try it anyway? Sadly, yes. Was it occasionally hilarious when they did so? Of course it was. Next crucial question, did they get caught? Well, yes. Here's a federal judge ruling that Trump's lawyer, John Eastman, his communications on this matter, must be released to the January 6th investigation because those communications are evidence of a possible crime. Yes, they got caught. I mean, here's the January 6th investigation, looking at this very closely, starting to reveal all their findings about it, including Trump campaign lawyers and people who worked on the scheme for the Trump campaign in multiple states, saying in their sworn depositions, yeah, it was illegal, and they wish they'd never had anything to do with it. Here's that pained deposition they played excerpts from yesterday, a pained deposition from the head of the Republican Party, RNC Chair Ronna Romney McDaniel. The RNC had previously denied to reporters that they had anything to do with this fake elector scheme. But hey, look, under oath, there's Ronna Romney McDaniel now admitting that, yes, actually, the RNC helped put the fake electors together and that it was Trump personally, Trump himself, former president himself, who called her personally and asked her to help with the fake electors scheme. So yes, they got caught. up to and including the president's personal involvement in it. And as much discussion as there has been about whether there will be criminal prosecutions for the plot to overthrow the government that has been exposed by the January 6th investigation, this part of it is where we already know there are multiple federal and state criminal investigations underway. We've been able to report here on the show, including today, that multiple Georgia Republicans who were asked to participate in the fake elector scheme but who chose not to for whatever reason, multiple Georgia Republicans in that position have been interviewed and or have testified before 3 different entities: the January 6th committee, the FBI, and also the criminal investigation being led by state prosecutors working out of Fulton County, Georgia. And now today, what is being described as a major escalation of the federal criminal investigation into these matters. The Washington Post was first to the story with this headline today: January 6th probe expands with fresh subpoenas in multiple states. Recipients of subpoenas include a state party chairman as officials probe deeper into pro-Trump efforts to use invalid electors to try to thwart Biden's 2020 victory. Illegal? Yes. They knew it? Yes. They tried it anyway? Yes. To hilarious effect? Yes, of course. But yes, they have been caught doing it, with active criminal grand jury investigations at both the federal and state level, and the federal investigation today appears to have widely expanded. And that, of course, just leaves us with the last question. Does anybody actually end up getting in trouble here? Watch this space.